Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Heart Flow, the podcast. Hello, my friends. Come on in the room, settle down, settle in. This is really take two of this episode. I don't know what happened to the previous video, but here we are. Also, I'm doing this during the day. My son is awake, so there is that too. Um, yeah. So, thank you, Dad. So, my friend on Facebook posted, "Welcome to week 26 of 2023. We have made it to the middle of the year." And so I wanted to reflect on this year, right? We are at the middle of the year, the end of June. July is about to start. My son's about to try to take my lamp light. Yes. Um, um, Yeah, but it's the end of the month, end of June. It's about to be the end of June, or it is the end of June. Middle of the year, let's reflect. And it really didn't hit me for real that it was the end of the month until I saw that post. And I really be kind of just floating through the days and floating through the weeks or whatever, not really paying attention too much to time. Um, which I'm not gonna say is a good or bad thing, but I just be in the flow of life. So reflection is good. I think reflection is good to see where you are, the goals that you still need to accomplish, set new goals if you have accomplished the ones that you did set out already this year, and just to see where you have grown. You know what I'm saying? So that is this episode. Um, as much as I can. That's going to be this episode. Um, we we let me see, where do I want to start? So we moved, and I'm very thankful for that. Here it is. And I'm very thankful for that. We moved the top of May, and I think that was like the one of the greatest things about this year was me moving, because it gave us room and space, physically, literally room and space, but then also emotionally, mentally, room and space for us to grow, for us to heal, for me to heal. Um, because, and I've talked about it before, I think I've talked about it on here before. Um, I was staying with my mom, we were staying with my mom or whatever, and um, I'm thankful for the space and the time to live there, until I got things together. My mom and I do not have the greatest relationship. To her, she doesn't understand that. To me, I can fully understand it. Um, and I've tried to give grace, for her lack of understanding, and for her upbringing, how the relationships are with her sisters, um, and all of that. How I guess I've tried to give grace for that. But there's really so much, there's really just so much I can give without getting anything in return, I guess. Like, um, I did my very best to heal. I've talked about it a lot, because this is my time to heal, my healing journey that I am on. And she was a part of that, a part of my healing journey, and she still is, because I want to fully heal, from the hurt and disappointment, that I have felt in our relationship. Um, And I have tried to talk to her many times throughout the years, and even a couple of times while I was living there. But it was never received well. There was always an excuse, a reason for behavior, and then it was also, this is just how I am. Take it or leave it. Um, and there was never really any accountability um, or even a desire to change. It was, this is how I am, and this is how I'm going to be. That's it. That was literally said to me. This is just how I am. And so, what that sounds like to me is, you're not going to change, and I have to accept whatever you give me. And that's not okay to me, especially if I'm feeling disrespected and not heard. So that's not okay, and that's not okay coming from anyone. Like, you're not going to allow anyone to treat you disrespectfully. Um, so why does it have to be accepted just because it's coming from your mother, or any adult in your life, or elder in your life, I should say. I don't think it should have to. So our relationship didn't grow, and um, God can change and move on hearts and do all the things. Um, so I'm not going to say our relationship can't ever grow, but while I was living there, it did not grow. It actually, I feel like, kind of regressed. So there was no way I was really going to like fully heal staying in that environment. So I wholeheartedly believe that us being able to move out and God giving us the opportunity to do so, God giving us the opportunity to do so was by, His divine plan. So I can grow and heal. And then also, honestly, other people know this because I've said this to them, to like my close people. My son wasn't comfortable at the house. Like, it took him a long time to get comfortable to move around in the house. Like, he was very timid. He didn't like to cross through the hallway, like leaving our bedroom to go into the bathroom, the living room, so some other room. He didn't like to leave out of the room, um, to go play freely somewhere else. And there was space to do so, but he did not like to do that. It took him a long time. And then when other people entered into the home, it kind of, he regressed a little bit, and it would take him a long time again to work up the courage to leave outside of like the room. Um, and I didn't like that. I hated it because my child should be able to roam freely. Um, he should be able to roam freely. And it's not like it's not like she said that he couldn't go anywhere or do anything. That was never said to him. Um, but little kids babies pick up on things that um, sometimes adults do not. And that's how I feel about that. So I'm very thankful for our own space. He can move about the cabin as he sees fit. He goes and comes and do whatever he wants to do. This is his home. That's what he does. Um, so I'm very thankful for that. Um, and I prayed, and I had to pray and ask God to help me to continue in my healing process in regards to my mother, because I have now set the boundary of distancing myself. That's what I did, to be honest. Of distancing myself so I can heal. And that's the purpose of me really not communicating, even though there's not much communication on the other end either. But um, whatever. But I've created the boundary of distancing myself so I can heal. And so I had to pray, like, Lord, really allow me to heal this wound so I can whenever I do choose to re enter um, the sphere of communication, I can do so and not be hurt by whatever behaviors or things being said or um, anything like that coming from her and her sisters. So, um, because it was my mom, yes. So it's my mom, yes, but her and her sisters all think the same and act the same, even though um, they may say they do not. They do, and I don't want to deal. I just don't want to deal with the petty and immature and unable to be accountable for your actions, always shifting the blame and deflecting like dysfunction. I just don't want it. So whenever I do re-enter the spheres of communication, when I choose to do that again, or when the situation comes to me and when I have to re-enter, I want to be in a place where I'm healed enough to not be affected by them. Um, and I say have to re-enter because I have been said to be the Joseph of my family. Any of you guys that have read the Bible know that reference. So my family may come to me at some point needing my assistance or needing my help for whatever reason. And I want to be in a place where I am able to extend that assistance and extend that help without any bitterness or malice or anger or any of that. So it's just going to take time because they get on my nerves. Um, and I am hurt by their actions, like my aunt calling me disrespectful and ungrateful when I don't even have a relationship with you. You're literally just going off of whatever my mom told you, and whatever my mom told you is warped. So, like, please miss me. Um, honestly, I have no relationship with any of my aunts, truly. And when I say relationship, like nobody growing up and in my adulthood, nobody has called to check on me, see how I was doing. Nobody has tried to take me here, take me there, spend time with me, or any of the things. There's no phone calls to check in. None of that. Okay, you're the adult. You cultivate that relationship. The child does not. And that's why I do my very best to reach out to my nieces and nephews um, to try to break that unhealthy cycle of not reaching out and communicating with them, because it's my job to do that. They are the children. I am the adult, so I reach out to try to build that foundational or to build the foundation so they know they can reach out to me as well. Life is life and things get busy and stuff happen, and I totally understand that. But still, as the adult, you set the foundation and then it's built upon that. If there's no foundation, there's nothing to build on. I don't have a foundation with my aunts, so what am I building on? Nothing. But because they are elders, and they are my aunts. Well, that's not air quote worthy, but they're elders and they're my aunts. They feel like they can say whatever and do whatever. No, I'm sorry. I'm also too an adult. So um respect is what's needed here. Like period. And since we already don't have a relationship, it's very easy for me to continue to not have one with you. Hmm. Um, And I don't want that with mine. So I reach out, I let them know that I love them. I try to check in. I'm very absent minded. And I feel like because that wasn't built in us, I say us, me and my brother, but in me, um, it's very easy to just go with the flow and not communicate and not reach out. And I've said that actually to some cousins or a cousin of mine. Um, and he was like, no, for sure, or whatever. Um, and he felt the same way. But and I told my youngest nephew, who was really like my baby too, but I had to tell him that as well. And I apologize too, like, bruh, like I love you so much. You are literally like my first baby. And I am sorry for not reaching out as often as I probably should. It is not on purpose. I was like, we are conditioned to not reach out. We are conditioned to not cultivate relationships outside of our home. And even then, the relationships weren't really cultivated then either. So we weren't taught to reach out and to connect to people outside of our home. We just see y'all whenever we see y'all, pretty much. Um, but I was like, but please know that you are my first baby and I love you so, so much. And if you ever need anything, you need to talk, please reach out to me. Like, do not hesitate. I am here. And I will work on reaching out more. And I had to send that to him. And he was like, love you, TT. I just love my baby. um, um, but yeah, so I had to pray and ask God to help me to truly heal during this time. So whenever that time does come where I need to have to want to re-enter that sphere of communication, I can do so in a healed state. Um, that's one part of my healing journey. On me reflecting back or on this half year, I started counseling, gaining my hours this year, which has been an experience for sure. Excuse me. It has been a challenge as well because I work for a private practice, which is totally fine because I more than likely see myself working for myself with a private practice of my own. So some of the business side the business side that I get to see is helpful, but it's also difficult because it's not as big as an agency may be, so the clientele isn't consistent, um, which makes it challenging for me to gain hours and then also to pay for supervision because supervision is not cheap for me. Um, I don't know what other people are paying, but if you look up how much supervision costs, it's not cheap. Okay. So I had to tell my supervisor, I was like, listen, Linda, listen. Um, how these clients are coming in because for some reason, not all of my clients, but one, two, three, four of my clients just disappeared off of the face of the earth. And it just was like week by week, they were all just falling off. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what is going on? I didn't understand it. I don't understand it. I've reached out to them, all of the things, and I pray that they're all okay. Um, but I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I told my supervisor, I said, the way these clients are clienting, that supervision fee, um, baby, this may not be able to continue because paying out of pocket is not going to happen. I can't do that. Um, so, so it's been challenging to say the least, but also rewarding because I've been working with people. It's awesome to see like aha moments in people's lives when they get it. It's awesome when people come in ready to do the work. Um, so sometimes I very much so have imposter syndrome, like these people really talking to me. what am I doing? But also, I remember I am only an LPCA, which means I am a associate, which is like an intern. So I don't know everything. I am learning, so I give myself grace um, to try to learn and obtain more information so I can help the people, help myself as well. It's always very interesting when I'm in a session and um, what the client is presenting I may be experiencing or going through or have gone through. And then what I may be telling the client is very much something I need to be writing down for myself. Um, that's always interesting and funny to me. Like this recent client has an anxious attachment style, and I was describing it or whatever and giving examples of it. And me, I was like, "Oh, girl, this sound like you." I was like, "Ooh, Shayla, this sound like some behaviors you have exhibited in the past." Um, and I was like, "Okay, yes, you are very much so the anxious attachment style." Um, Thankfully, I have grown and healed a lot um, from first recognizing my like behaviors or my anxious behaviors, which was like, a few years ago or years ago. Which is why I appreciate the Holy Spirit because a lot of my healing journey had nothing to do with like me learning clinical um, stuff. It was everything to do with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit helped me heal through a lot of things before I actually got help. Before I went to therapy for certain things, the Holy Spirit had already been working with me on things. Before I got into my master's program and was going through different classes, learning different things, the Holy Spirit was already working with me, healing me, helping me be more self aware, helping me to become more emotionally intelligent, more emotionally healthy, all of the things. So the Holy Spirit is great. If you don't know him, come to know him. Um, so yeah, but it was just interesting. I was like, girl, anxious style, that is you, honey. That is you. Um, so it has been interesting. This journey has been interesting this year with counseling or whatever. Um, I have gained a new client and I may have another one on a different platform. So we'll see. I'm just praying that, the clients continue to come in and things work out. There was really nothing I can do about that because clients are clients. I can't control them. So there's that. Um, and then also when it comes to like my own like intimate relationships, kinda that's not really what I want to call it, but um more of my self-awareness and healing. Um, it was like probably the top of June, the top of June, maybe. Me and one of my good friends we were talking about relationships for like a week straight or so, talking about relationships or whatever, and biblical relationships and how that looks and how you should show up and like forgiveness, like all these things, you know what I'm saying? Like each day was something different, a different topic or whatever. Not intentionally, that's just how the conversation flowed. And what was revealed to me um, is that I want to continue to show up um, in my most authentic self, so healing is needed, reflecting is needed, and I use a word in my other video that I cannot think of now, and that's such a bummer, but rectify. So I need to rectify situations. I don't even remember how I said it, and it's irritating me right now. But I need to heal, reflect, and like rectify situations as much as I can. And when I was in my previous relationship, though I was hurt and I was hurt, um, like hurt deeply, and it was a valid hurt. But because I was hurt, I was unable to see past my hurt. Um, not saying that's right or wrong, but because I wasn't able to see past my hurt and I was stuck there in that moment, I was unable to see the hurt of my partner, and the hurt that I caused my partner, which was never, of course, my intention to do, because again, I couldn't see past my own hurt and the hurt that I was experiencing. Um, and it's very challenging to for me. It's very challenging for me to move past things that's never been addressed. Um, so I'm not the type of person to um, move past again something that hasn't been addressed. So if you've beat me, this did not happen. If you we get into a fight and you like beat me up or whatever, um, and that fight is never addressed, but I'm supposed to present people that you are great and fantastic. That's not, I don't know how to do that because the reality of it is you're not because you just beat me. So I don't know how to move past that if we've never addressed the fight. Um, and then you continue to beat me and continue to beat me and continue to beat me, and none of that is ever addressed or it's attempted to be addressed or whatever, and you say you're going to change but you actually don't change, but then you want me to present you as great and fantastic. That doesn't register to me because to me that is being fake, and I don't know how to do that. um I don't know how to do that. So because the situation never got addressed properly and we weren't able to move past it and heal, rectify and heal and do all the things, I was stuck there and I was unable to meet the needs of my partner. Um, and honestly, in my faith, I am responsible for what I do, right? I'm responsible for um, my end, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, not focusing on what my partner is not doing. Okay. I think it was Creflo Dollar, and he said something like I'm paraphrasing, um, that because he was talking to Waka Flocka and his wife, ex-wife, I don't know her name, um, that each of them were responsible for doing their part. And as long as they're focused on doing their part and showing up for their partner, their needs will still be met. Why? Because they're doing what they are supposed to be doing to meet the needs of their partner, not focusing on what is not being done, but showing up and doing the things that you're supposed to do. Um, and I was not doing that. I wasn't, regardless of if um my feelings and hurt was valid, I still was not showing up and doing my part. And that is where I had to recognize and realize that and then apologize for it and try to rectify it as much as possible. Though we aren't together right now, um I still had to apologize and try to rectify it. What can I do to help you along your um, healing journey or your healing process or anything like that. Is there anything I can do? Really, no. Honestly, he's on his own healing journey. But I do think acknowledging my part and apologizing is rectifying and doing something, even though we're not in relationship right now. So certain things I cannot like really do that he was missing. Um, I think he sees my change in the little ways that I am able to, show that. Um, and in me recognizing, apologizing, and trying to rectify the situation, um, that helps me become more like self-aware, more um, emotionally um, intelligent and healthy, because I'm able to recognize my faults and rectify them as much as possible. So even if he's not, if he like never apologizes or he never um, is accountable for anything that he does. I'm not saying that he is not, nor he hasn't. I did not say that. Um, but if he did not do any of those things, I did my part and I am healing so I can be a better person, because it is about me healing as well. It's about my overall emotional health, right? So your emotional health and emotional intelligence is not just about um, doing what's best for you and self care, you recognizing your emotions, um, you processing your emotions, but it is also about you being self aware enough to see where you have gone wrong, the mistakes you have made. Be accountable to that, and apologize if necessary. Try to rectify the situation if you can. And if there's nothing that you can do, or if it's like past the time for you to do that, process that process that through, um, so you can be a better person. It's not always about just you in the sense of your feelings, your emotions, and all of that. But it does involve other people, recognizing the hurt that you have caused other people, recognizing the actions or mistakes that you have made that have affected other people, and trying to rectify that if you can. And coming to a resolve, if you aren't able to rectify the situation. And that came to me several ways. I was having a conversation. I had a conversation with, like I said, with my best friend. That whole week we was talking about different things, and a whole bunch of stuff was coming to me and being revealed to me, and I was like, awesome, great, thanks. um, and I took those in, and then having a open and unexpected conversation with him, and realizing how I hurt him, and I was just like, oh wow. I did not know that, did not know any of this. Um, and then, like that Sunday, after I had talked to him, maybe like a day or so later, my pastor talked about, because it was Father's Day actually. My pastor talked about men or whatever, and how to show up for men or whatever. And I caught a glimpse of it because I didn't watch all of it. I caught a glimpse of it, and the part he was talking about was like praising your man or whatever, and respecting him and praising him. I think praising him for sure, respecting him. I can't totally remember, but that is needed. You're supposed to respect your man. But praising him or whatever, and I was like, we just talking about this. We just talking about this. So again, I was like, okay, so I was wrong I was wrong. Please forgive me. Again, I didn't show up and do my part. I was not taking care of my part. And that is what I was responsible for. That is what I am responsible for, doing my part. And I failed at that. So I had to apologize for it. I had to own up to it and apologize for the things that I was not doing to meet his needs, regardless of what I was hurting, what my hurt was. Not saying that my hurt isn't important, or valid, but I still was not meeting his needs. So, two things can be true, right? Um, I was hurt and I was hurting. I also wasn't meeting his needs. And it was just a continuous cycle. Unmet needs, just continued, and the relationship um, was plummeting because of it, unfortunately. That is still the love of my life. Um, but yeah, so my prayer has been that I retain and am able to apply all of the things that I have been learning and grasping, and the things that has have been revealed to me um, during this time, that I'm able to apply it to my relationship, because I want to again show up as a better me, a healthy me, and the most authentic me. And that requires me to heal, to recognize my faults, to rectify my actions, and to better me. So that's all of my first half of 2023. And I pray that um, God continues to prepare me for the end of 2023, where I pray that I am at the stage of receiving the manifestation of my prayers. Um, yeah, yeah. I am laughing because I have a specific prayer of mine that I will not share because it ain't none of y'all business. Um, but yes, that's my 2023. I hope you guys also take time to reflect on your 2023, and continue to grow and set goals if necessary, or readjust your goals, or just let the healing come naturally, not to force it, because it will come on its own. Revelation will come on its own if you allow it, if you are open to it, if you're open to change and open to self awareness and healing and all of that. It will come to you definitely. I was not seeking out any of this, but I told the Lord a long, long, long time ago, um, like 7 years ago, I told the Lord, please, I would much rather um, be broken from healing than to be broken and stagnant. I do not want to be a stagnant person. I do not want to be an unhealed person. I want to grow. I want to heal. I want to move forward. I want to be able to receive all that you have for me. So if that means that I have to go through the process of healing and go through each of, the stages, I will do that, because I don't want to live a stagnant life. I told that to the Lord, and ever since then, that He has made me aware of things. Sometimes I'll be like, I didn't want to know that. Um, but here I am, being the example and being the leader and the forerunner of things. Um, but that's it. That's all. I hope you guys have enjoyed this reflection. I hope you guys share. Please share and like and follow. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions or concerns, please message me on Facebook and Instagram at My Heart Speaks LLC. Again, that's My Heart Speaks LLC. Um, if you have any topics or feedback, you can send them post them in the comments section, or you can still message me, and that's totally fine as well. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and weekend. I will talk to you guys later. Blessings.